Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back, happy listeners, to the
You crack me
Local
up.
Show.
How do you know happy listeners?
Well, of course, they're smiling.
They're smiling now.
They're smiling because they know it could be near the end of the show. So
It is near the end of the show, Tom.
Finally, we can get a reprieve. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Also on YouTube under Zoey Advertising. It's Tom and Steve and the Local Show. Tell us a little bit about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and why it's so important to protect what you got.
You crack me up. I'm so laughing at you. All right. Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, been around since the beginning. They've been guests on the show. If you haven't protected your home and life savings, you need to have a conversation with them because long-term care is going to eat it up if you don't protect it.
Yeah.
You just have to. So maybe just have a conversation about updating your will, but really have that conversation about potentially a trust. And you don't need to have tons of money like you do, Tom, to have a trust.
Right.
Regular people put their home in a trust and protect it. So talk to our friends, John Murray over at Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, 370-9977. SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com, Tom.
If you have to go into long-term care, I want you to just rest assured, I'll send Nicholas
I love your son.
to say hello to you. All right. It's our pleasure right now to bring on Alex Behm. He is the Executive Director of Clear Path for Veterans. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. We appreciate that. Steve and I did some work back in 2016, and I think we're starting to create a relationship with the organization. And we went to the golf course and did the drone over it, took some pictures, and toured the facility. And it was really, really nice over there.
It's a gorgeous facility. We sit on 78 acres. It's a warm and welcoming place for veterans and their families and the community to gather.
Absolutely. How long have you been there?
Been there since 2015.
Okay.
I went to Clear Path and joined Melissa Spicer, one of our co-founders, and her team to help build a career services program for veterans and their families.
Okay.
And then I worked with the staff in operations, and now I serve as the executive director.
That's so awesome. So tell us, who owned the property originally?
So the property was originally owned by a family who lived in the Manlius area, the Tuttle family, and it was Sky Ridge Country Club. So there is a full-size Olympic swimming pool.
Oh, wow.
The lodge that we house our programs and services in today.
I never knew that.
And when Melissa and her sister, Melinda Sorrentino, and our other co-founder, Dr. Steve Kinney, approached the family, as you've seen, it's a beautiful piece of property. So they didn't want it to go to just anybody. They wanted it to go to serve the community. And when Melissa and Steve and Melinda pitched that they wanted to create a resource center for veterans and their families, the family was in agreement with that, and they bought the property with their own money and started the organization.
Wow.
That's a great story. So what do you seek to do with Clear Path? What is their overall mission, their overarching mission?
Well, through our direct programs and services and our supportive programs, we seek to enrich and enhance the lives of veterans and their families. So that can be through our service dog canine training program, career services support, our wellness program with integrative medicine, as well as our peer support services.
Is it just for people here in the Syracuse area, or do you serve a larger geographic area?
So we've expanded to serve 33 counties throughout New York State.
33 counties?
33 counties.
That's like most of them.
It's amazing. And it's really, it's due to the mission. Communities see the value in bringing communities together to serve veterans and their families.
Right.
So we've expanded into Rochester. We're in the North Country. We also have offices in the Southern Tier in Vestal, New York. So we cover Broome County. And most recently, we're in Hudson Valley as well.
Great. How important is peer counseling to the organization?
So our peer-to-peer support program is staffed by all veterans themselves. So they've made the transition from the military, and they're able to really stand shoulder to shoulder with veterans who not only are transitioning from the military, but maybe are just struggling and on hard times. And 20 years later, they need somebody to talk to or to connect with our services.
Yeah. And I don't want to make it seem like, sometimes I think the media blows it out of proportion that everyone who comes back from the military is broken.
Right.
That's not the case, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You can come back and be well adjusted.
100%. And it's the full spectrum. So we're working with veterans who are experiencing homelessness to retirees from Fort Drum who may just need a connection to a local employer.
Right.
But more importantly, we're a place where veterans can come and connect with one another. So you don't have to use programs and services at ClearPath. Yeah. Right now, we do a Wednesday canteen. So there's about 280 veterans and their families up at the facility right now, having a healthy meal, breaking bread, and just connecting with one another. It's the camaraderie piece that brings people together.
I was just going to say, so the social aspect of it,
Absolutely.
that's what I was just going to ask. So that's what goes on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And all the programs where it's the social engagement piece, right? Bringing the community, veterans together and their families to connect, restore, and grow. And that's our mission.
That is wonderful. And how long has the organization been in practice?
We started in 2011. So our Chittenango facility on Salt Springs Road is our main campus. And that's where we house our service dog training program. The satellite offices, we just opened one in Syracuse. So we're down right across from the Post Standard building at 126 North Salina Street.
Very nice. Okay.
And then the office in Vestal, New York is centrally located right in
Tell us
town
about
of
the
Vestal.
service dog training.
It's amazing. It's how the concept started with Melissa and Dr. Kinney to train service dogs for veterans facing post-traumatic stress, military sexual trauma, and usually accompanied by a traumatic brain injury. So the dogs are raised from birth to be put into service. So we use labs. After 6 weeks, they are brought to ClearPath.
So 6-month-old puppies, or they're trained 6 months and then
it's right from birth. They're trained to go into service.
Wow.
So we get them after 6 weeks. We actually have the community involved with this process. So we have canine guardians who take the dogs home with them, help us train them.
You got to give it back, though.
You have to give it back. You have to give it back.
A little lab puppy.
It's tough.
Right?
Yeah, that's got to be.
But when they're ready, they're matched with a veteran at no cost, and the veteran then goes through an intensive service dog training program. And we were just accredited last fall by Assistance Dogs International. So it's a world governing body of service dog training. So we're at the top of the industry standard for training.
So what do you see in the future for the organization?
We see continued growth. Right now, our facility in Chittenango, we're running out of space. So we're looking at expanding the canine program with some more infrastructure on the property, specifically a canine training center, as well as some overnight cabins. So families can come from out of town and utilize the canine program and other resources at the facility and stay on the property. We do retreats for women veterans and veteran spouses and caregivers. So when they're there immersed at the facility, we want them to be able to stay. So the infrastructure piece is going to be a big project for us.
In about 30 seconds, can you tell people why they should hire a veteran?
So veterans bring a unique aspect to the workforce, right? They're going to be there on time. They're going to complete the job, the task at hand. Mission accomplishment is a big thing in the military, right? So we're going to get it done no matter what. And all of the employers in this area have been great to work with to hire veterans. So we really appreciate it.
And he did that in 30 seconds. Did you see that? He kept his promise. Thank you.
Very good, Alex. Thank you so much for what you do. And thank you for your personal service, as well as helping all these veterans. And the organization's wonderful. I can't say enough about it. Thank you, man.
Well, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show, just so you know.
Time to go fishing.
Pull out your pole?
Time to go fishing.
Okay, get in that stream, and Steve will be the one with the new chest waders.
Yes, the new shiny boots. Yes.
Very nice. On behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising, and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your family. Get out and get some vigorous activity today and every day. Make it a point to help someone who's maybe less fortunate than you, okay? The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. It's more fun that way. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising 3809.